Hello, hello. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Hello. Hi, it's Hump Day. Oh, goodness, that's loud. Hello. Let me say hello to everybody. Allura Star, and Shocker, and Sturgis Guy, and Tesis, and House of Dave, and Sam, and St. Clinton, and Eric, and Petey, and Tim, and Mark Mean, and Star Raven, and Ryan, and Photo, and Phil, and Fairies Lover, and Lucky Girl, and Winged Doggy, and Redhead, and Angie Jonas. Thank you so much for checking in. Great to see you. And Mark Mean, and Star Raven, and Sturgis Guy, and Jim Dandy, and Azure Yusuf, and LaCram, and Scott Kimmis, and Bill Nouse, and N1 Gov. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Hello. Hello. It is Wednesday, Hump Day. And if you're not if you're not getting your hump on, you're doing it wrong. And yeah, so I'm doing it wrong. Oh. Doesn't Hump Day make you feel like you're missing out on something? Stop calling it that! Hello. What am I talking about? All right. Oh, quick announcement. I will not be here tomorrow. Me neither, Laura. No show tomorrow. I will be here Friday, but no show tomorrow. But hi, Marcel. Thank you for checking in. Great to see you. Nice to meet you. For anyone who's just checking in, hi, my name is Lorielle New. I'm an actress. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5:15 Los Angeles time on the Hangouts and on the YouTube. You have your choice of watching on YouTube or Hangouts. It is real time on Hangouts. And there's a lag. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a lag. And hi, Sturgis Guy. Hi, David Jones. And nice to meet you, Marcel. For anyone, if you're new, I have everybody muted, so you can't talk. You have to write in the comment section, Marcel. So nice to meet you, Marcel. What part of the world are you from? You're not new, Marcel. Marcel. Sludger. Marks backwards. Sludger, Marcel. Wait. Do you have a different name? Oh, is that LaCram? Are you LaCram? Woohoo! Yay! Yay, LaCram! Good to see you. Okay, because everybody, when you go on the Google, it gives like your real name. So a lot of people, yeah. And I have been calling your name, LaCram. We missed you, and everyone says hello. Good to see you. Well, okay, no show tomorrow. And LaCram, you can watch. You have a choice of watching because some people have connection problems. So I have both windows open, the Google Hangouts window or just plain YouTube on my YouTube channel. But there's a lag. There's like a 2-minute lag if you're watching on the YouTube channel. So I will. I'm just making sure that's. Just making sure that's still moving. But you can watch on either one. And, well, good. I'm glad you're busy in the real world. Even better. And there will be no show tomorrow. I will not be here. I'm going to see a film tomorrow. So, but I'll tell you all about that on Friday, how it turns out. And in I think on the 28th. So in a little over, in about 2 weeks, and I believe so far it's the 28th, I'm working on a film. I don't know what day that falls on, but there won't be a show on that day either. I'm working on a film called, I told you guys about it, it's called Nasty Piece of Work. And I'm playing a cowboy cougar. I'm cowgirl, cougar. Yeah, so I'll be wearing some sort of cowgirl outfit on, and I pick up some young guy in my car who's hitchhiking. And of course, we gotta make out on the side of the road. Because I'm a cowboy cougar. And that's what happens when you hitchhike, right? In movies. Marcel says, am I already a cougar? No, actually, Marcel, no. I've never dated anyone younger. I mean, technically to be a cougar means it refers to an older woman who goes out with much younger men. And so I haven't done that. I've played a cougar a few times, but I haven't actually been one in real life. Wing Doggy says I'm 26. Yes! Oh! Please. Of course. Well, no, Angie, that's no, that is not actually the definition. A cougar is a woman. Angie says a cougar is a woman over 40 who still looks good for her age. Now, technically, a cougar is an older woman, but it doesn't specify the age, who goes out with much younger men. So so for instance, if you were dating a guy who was 18 and you were 36, you would be a cougar. Angie says she's 34, and she feels like if she meets somebody who's 18 or 20, she's close enough to embrace her cougar status. She's totally okay with it. Well, Marcel, is that how old you are, Marcel? I've only gone out with older men. I've never gone out with. And David Jones has a question. Does a MILF have to have children? Yes, a MILF has to have children. MILF, the abbreviation for MILF is the first word M stands for mother. Mother. That is the qualification for being a MILF. And a MILF is not related to age. It's related to the motherhood. Therefore, if you are a 25-year-old mother, you could be a MILF. Yes. MILF stands for Mother I'd Like to F. So therefore, it doesn't have anything to do with age. It is the fact that it's somebody's mother. And it could be the mother of very small children or grown-up children. It doesn't specify in the classification. That is the definition of a MILF. But you already knew that, shocker! You already knew that. You're just trying to get my goat up. Now, would have to. Good, Allura. So how's everybody's day? Is everyone having a good day? David Jones says he was teaching someone about the history of nuclear weapons earlier today. Oh my goodness. Well, that's not a very good history. Nuclear weapons are scary. Oh, well, that's good. Well, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day here in Los Angeles. And just to remind you guys, there will not be a show, no show tomorrow. No Thursday show, but I will be here Friday. Marcel says they're only scary when used. Actually, nuclear weapons are even scary when they're not used, even when they're stored, because there's the threat that somebody will break in and steal them or gain control over them, falling into the wrong hands, and or then when you save all that nuclear weapons and waste and all that stuff, it like kind of never disappears. There's like caves where they're like storing like tons and tons and tons of nuclear waste and all this nuclear garbage. It's kind of never going to go away. David Jones says salt mines. Yeah. All right. I really worry about all these like weird things that that we do, like giant salt mines and then filling them up with nuclear waste. It seems like a bad plan. It seems like at some point we're going to wish we didn't do that. It's like right now, and I tweeted this before, that in the last few years, since they've been doing fracking for the past, I don't know, like 5-10 years in Oklahoma and those states, they've been doing fracking, which includes forcing chemicals and gases and oils kind of like sideways into the earth. Instead of just drilling for oil, you're kind of like forcing all this stuff in to push the oils and stuff out. And it causes a lot of displacement and pressure. And in these places like in Oklahoma and stuff where they've been doing these, over the last few years, there's a huge increase in the amount of earthquakes they're suddenly having. And people are trying to say, it's just a coincidence. People who are pro-fracking say, it's just a coincidence. The two things don't have anything to do with each other. They're just suddenly having a lot of earthquakes in Oklahoma since we've started fracking. Well, see, California's already built on a whole bunch of faults. We already have an unstable underneath, so it would be a really bad idea to start fracking in California, where you already know it's unstable. I don't think, as far as I know, Oklahoma did not have a history of earthquakes. It was not, I don't think there were, sensitive fault lines in Oklahoma. So an earthquake in places where there's no fault lines, there are places, Japan, California, where the Earth's crust, it's already built in weak fault lines, structural problems. So definitely wouldn't want to ever frack in those places because it's already ready to go. But if you start fracking in a place where there was never a problem and no fault lines, and then suddenly there's earthquakes, well, you have to assume that maybe you're causing that. Because I don't think there's places, there's different places in the world. Like, there's places where they get hurricanes. There's places where they get tornadoes. There's certain patterns and things that in certain areas, this is how the weather cycles flows through this area. You're vulnerable to earthquakes here. historically, Oklahoma was not a hotbed of earthquakes. So the fact that there is now suddenly tiny, not big ones, but tiny ones, like little 2 point something, 3 point something, but suddenly over the last 5 years or so, huge increase in this. I wonder what could cause that. Maybe all this pressure that we are man-made, manufacturing, fracking, building up pressure in the Earth's surface. It seems like even a 5-year-old could see the logic of the cause and effect. Seems like a very good argument to never frack anywhere. Hi, Tesis. Wing Doggy says the Earth's gonna crack like an egg. I hope not. Marcel suggests we all start jumping up and down at the same time. Wing Doggy says the Earth is going to start turning in the opposite direction. No, I don't believe that. I've read stuff about that, but I don't believe that's going to happen. I think that's one of those theories, Wing Doggy, like Y2K. Remember Y2K? We were going to hit the year 2000, and like the world was going to blow up, and every computer was going to blow up, and planes were going to drop out of the sky, and like this huge like cataclysmic kind of thing, event was going to happen, and well, nothing happened. So I think that whole like planets aligning and the Earth's starting to spin the other direction, I don't think that's going to happen. LaCram says we had a hard rock festival some time ago, and there were so many people jumping up and down, it was a 2 on the Richter scale of boom, boom. They have, you know what, I did read somewhere that they tried an experiment like that at some point, where they tried to get like everyone in a country or everyone in a state or something, to everybody at a certain time of the day jump all at the same time to see if thousands of people jumping up and down at the same time would have an effect. And it actually did. It did measure. It reminds me, it reminds me when you think about it, yes, even us small tiny humans can have an effect on the Earth. It reminds me of the Dr. Seuss story, Horton Hears a Who, where Horton the elephant he's picking dandelions, and he finds a flower, a dandelion flower, a little speck on it, and because he's got big ears, he can hear things that nobody else can hear. And he hears this little speck on the flower is actually a tiny planet. But they don't know they're a tiny planet. They think they're a giant world. It's like if we were a speck on a flower. Our world is big to us. But anyhow, so Horton finds this, and suddenly realizes the scientist on this tiny speck has built this gigantic megaphone because he's determined that maybe there's something out beyond his tiny world. There's something bigger than just his tiny world. And nobody believes that there's something bigger. So, I mean, Dr. Seuss is very profound when you think about the implications. But, so he devises this giant microphone, and he's yelling, hello, hello, and Horton hears it. And so he guards this dandelion, this little speck. He guards this world with his life. And all of the other animals around him say he's crazy. Denounce the tiny speck. Denounce that little world. Throw it in the boiling pot of water. Get rid of it. You're crazy. And Horton refuses to. And he's holding the speck, and they're trying to tie him down and steal it away. And finally, like, one of the birds, like, swoops down and grabs it and takes the flower and dumps it into a field of flowers. And Horton goes running after it, and he has to go through the entire field of flowers, calling out until he finally takes him days to find it. And of course, this huge fall and tumble has caused like a giant like earthquake and problem on the speck, and he rescues them, and they're trying the other animals with Horton are like, okay, that's it, we're gonna boil this little planet in water. And he has to get everyone to believe and call out at once. He gets the scientist on the little speck has to get his entire planet aligned to all at once scream into his microphone, "Hello!" so that the other animals besides just Horton can hear them and realize that they exist and not try to boil them in the pot of water. But it's a profound story. You know, illustrating faith, belief, sticking up for somebody, working hard, the fact that you're not, that your universe is much bigger than just your little world. There's so many things, and the impact that one person can have on the world, and the impact that everybody together can have on the world. There's so many different things that are illustrated in this story, big theories of living and humanity and culture and society. And so I always found that book extremely profound on so many different levels. No, it's not dark yet. Tisa says, what is on the edge of darkness? On the edge of darkness is light. I think that's pretty profound. Well, you can see it's not dark here. Tisa says, what is on the edge of space? Well, you know, that's what scientists have been trying to figure out. What is on the edge of space? Like, because that's a question many scientists have thought about, you know. First we had people used to think that the Earth was flat. And then we realized that it's a planet. It's not just a giant flat plane, it's a planet. And that we're in a solar system with a whole bunch of other planets. And as we expand our knowledge, we realize that there's a whole bunch, space goes on, there's a whole bunch of solar systems going out and out and out. And we're expanding our vision of the universe. How did it start? How far does it go? Does it ever end? Is it one giant big circle? What is at the end of the universe? Is the universe are we all just a tiny speck on a dandelion? And at the end of the universe is the walls of a Petri dish keeping us all? We're just a giant scientific experiment inside of a Petri dish in some lab somewhere. Maybe our universe, our entire universe, is just a speck. David Jones says there is a restaurant at the end of the universe. I plan to go there. All right, so it is 5:45, and yes, that's true. And we haven't even started to explore other dimensions, because you know there's 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, but humans, our brain we're not really able to conceive of a 4th dimension, 5th dimension. Are there other dimensions in time and space? For instance, when when people think that they see ghosts or other apparitions, is there another dimension where all these things are actually passing through us in the same space, but they're in another dimension? Lots of things to think about. Okay, on that profound note, I am about to sign off today. I will be back on Friday at 5:15 Los Angeles time. And so good to see you back, LaCram. We missed you and glad everything's going well. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Allure Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and Tesis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip and Angie Jonas and Furious Lover and Lucky Girl and Mark Mean and Star Raven and LaCram, Marcel, Azure Youssef, N1 Gov, Bill Nouse, Scott Kimmis, Red Stapler, Jim Dandy, and Sturgis Guy, and Wing Doggy, and Redhead. Thank you so much for checking in. You guys are awesome! Kisses for everybody. I will see you guys on Friday. No show tomorrow. I will send a reminder on Twitter. But bye. I love you. I love you. Oh, and the flower lady, the bandit, the flower bandit was back today. I'm so discouraged. I'm so discouraged. 5 days with no appearance from the flower bandit, and today she was back, and I stopped her. But I'm just like, no! I thought it was over. All right. Bye. I love you.